Recruiters spend a lot of time on the phone. And after a while, that phone can get awfully heavy to lift. Now, some of that, maybe a lot, has to do with boredom. A lot more, I think, and a bit more deeply, it has to do with getting discouraged and not really having the emotion that what you're doing is a valuable thing, and it's going to be something that helps you out, that, you're not going to win. And so recruiters often feel like they don't have value to offer in every single phone call. That's the thing we want to change today. We want to help you have value that you offer and provide, extraordinary value, to every single person that you call. So how does Goldilocks apply to your marketing and sales calls? Well, the exact same kind of structure, from the porridge, too cold, too hot, just right, from the beds, too small and soft, too big and hard, and again, just right. It absolutely applies to your sales calls to hiring managers. Here, we again have to go strategic. You've got to be able to think about the company that they work for or lead, the department or the division, and its performance. So when we were using the Goldilocks Principle for your recruiting calls, it was, of course, the career benefit that the potential candidate gets from the encounter with you. Well, with a sales call, there's got to be a value that you create for the entity. And that's kind of like automatically a strategic thought, because you're calling someone, but they are a representative or a leader of something, be it a division, a department, an entire company, etc. So you've got to have that strategic thing. Well, what is that here? You've got to be able to map out all the companies in the universe of your specialty, that the more you get to know about them, the more powerfully you move through your industry. So that even if you're not going to make a placement with this company, and the vast majority you won't, you're on a need-to-know basis. So that when you're calling in your sales endeavors and speaking to and getting to know someone, the strategic value is the positioning you have in the market space as somebody who really knows what's going on. And you've got to understand where the companies are going. And so that actually relates directly to the universe of candidates that we called your strategic talent farm. You need to have a strategic marketplace. Now, when you make those calls, you're still going to have the exact same kind of structure, as we said, but it's going to work out in a little bit different manner. In this case, and there's lots of different ways we could do this, but the one that I like the most is too nice, too mean, and just right. So how do those define? From my point of view, you can know before you ever make a telephone call into any company, they have employees that they should fire. They always are carrying a talent load that is actually destructive to the bottom line, to company or division morale, destructive to the manager and to the leadership of the company. It's impossible for there not to be, because people really are nice, and not to mention laws and, modern cultural values, etc. So the too nice people never fire anyone. Worse than that, they always accept excuses. They always are feeling guilty themselves or passive, and they do not move the company forward. Now, we'll come back to the value you provide and to the value you get, but understand that talking to too nice people, people that are too nice, is not a high probability outcome. You're probably not going to sell people that are too nice. So we'll have to come back to what those values are to them and to you, but it is something that can be made extremely valuable, but you can't be thinking, oh, this is a good prospect for me in most cases. I'll give you the exception to that when we come back to it. With the too mean people, if they're too mean to you, you're not going to get anywhere. But too mean managers often know they're too aggressive, they have too much anger, they're too pushy, they're too bossy, and so they know somewhere inside themselves that that's not good leadership. And so the performance of the firm is absolutely being limited by the fact that they are too aggressive in this hard manner, and they know it. And learning how to build the right relationship between them and their talent, learning how to make them a little bit nicer, fantastic. And one of the best places where that can happen is over the recruitment process, where they can learn how to build a relationship on a proper basis. And so then, of course, we have the just right manager. That manager cares about the performance of the firm, is not necessarily too nice, and has probably fired people at some point in time. Is not too mean, but is able to be aggressive, to allow a little bit of anger into the daily encounter where it's needed in order to move the company forward. But his or her real commitment is to performance itself and to the cultural value that he or she is leading. And that's the person that when they discover you have a strategic vision of their industry and that you're interested in the actual performance and not just in closing a placement, they are going to open up to you and bond with you in the deepest and best, most powerful manner. Not only will that lead to good placements and excellent tactics, it is out of those people that you build your key accounts.